My name is Michael and this is my latest video. I apologise in advance for the sound quality. This is not my day job. So today we're taking down several sections of vertical beam from the house to which currently partitions the two rooms downstairs, and the idea is that it would be more open plan. Obviously going to have to keep a section either end to support the main beam that runs across it. This is it as I first approached it. It's got plastic meshing attached to it, which obviously isn't original. I don't know why they put that on, but you can see the old lath which is nailed against it, which would have held the cob, or the torchis as the French say, which is sort of a mixture of soil and hay. So these are the beams. I'm assuming the house is around about 150 years old. There's a section of the mortise and tenon. It's loose, as you can imagine. It's dried out over many years, decades, and the bottom beam is quite badly rotten. So there's a fair bit of movement in it already, and it would have had to have something done to it. And I just like the idea of it being open plan. And here's a section of the cob. As you can see, the straw. It's amazing to think that straw there is probably a good century old, if not older. Depending on, we don't know exactly when the house was built. So now we got the first beam out, the plastic mesh is off, the first beam's out, and we're having a quick look at the horizontal beam which supports it. Amazingly, it's still in relatively good nick. I mean, it's still solid. It's still something I'm going to have to cut through to take a section off, and there's a dowel that's still in place. Great way that the beams are joined together. Back in the day they weren't using nails and stuff. They would create holes and they would put these wooden dowels in. I suppose that allowed for a little bit of movement. So here's the first beam proudly positioned on the floor. And just going back to my first comment, is that this is not something I'm looking to do as sort of my main job. My main job is going to be to renovate this place, and videoing and all the rest of it's quite new to me, so bear with me please on it. So this is the second picture with the beam in place and the first bit of the opening done, and the idea is to remove it section by section, or piece by piece, and also take a note of the ceiling and the main beam above it to make sure there's no movement as it's being taken down. So here we are, back to the first beam that's down. Quick look around. I think we're going to have a look at now the nice neat clean cut that I did through it, so that I could remove this section. The two end sections are leaving in place for the time being. I'm still going to have to do something with that. Probably have to chop another bit of section out to put something more solid in its place to support the beam either end. And again, this is just looking up at one of the mortises in the main beam. Another still after that first section's been removed, and already I'm liking it better as it is. And then we've got the second section to come out, and you've got this beam in the center which was just sitting on the soil, and I kept having a quick look up and making sure there's absolutely no movement at all in that main beam, which there wasn't. And then we take a long look at the main supporting upright, which was, like I said, just sitting on soil, and well rotted by now. So I don't know whether the idea is that once they've got the little walls underneath the horizontals, that supports this main beam that's sitting across, or sitting and taking the support of the other beam. I've no idea, or it's just all tied together and it just holds. Nothing in that house is square or perpendicular or 100%. But I suppose that's with all the old buildings. Now I put an acro prop in just to give me a little bit of security, although I was fairly confident that nothing was going to move in the building. But anyway, I put one in, and this is the second section that's going to come out, and you can see underneath it's got sort of a flint wall that's been put in, a mixture of lime mortar, and there's the join between the next upright and the horizontal beam. cut away the electrics, which I've got no electrics at the moment, and I've got no lighting. So if the quality's poor, that's the reason for it. It's only the light that's on my phone as I'm filming. So now I've got 2 acro props in, supported on an old paver. The 2 acros actually were in the barn, so that's a handy tool to have accommodated or to have received. Another look again at the ceiling, make sure there's no movement, if there isn't, and then just a quick overall at some of the mortise that's in place. It looks like there's been some bit of fire or something on it at some stage, and there's a few areas like that in the roof space as well. Don't know what went on there. So the next beam's about to come out. And I've dug away some of the lower wall just to allow that horizontal beam to drop a little bit to make it more easy to get the uprights out. And this is the first one that's going to be coming out. I love the old timber. It's fantastic. I will be keeping it and utilising it somehow. It's such a waste just to chuck stuff like that. I never understand the guys that just chuck all the old timbers away. You've got to be able to do something with it. This is a section of the cob that was in between the uprights. You see a good mix of soil, straw, what have you. And obviously I would imagine it's got very good insulating qualities as well. In fact, there you go, there's a bit of wood, a bit of batten stuck inside it. I'm going to be breaking that up and actually using that on the floor in the old bedroom to help bring the levels up, and then put a screed over the top of it. Why not? Because the floor currently is just on soil with these briquettes that are sort of had been laid on it, and I toyed with the idea of lifting bricks, and then decided it just wasn't worth my while to do that, because as you start to lift them, some of them were broken and da-da-da. So this is the beam now that I've just taken a bit of plaster off, just working my way along it just to see that there's no movement, and to get a rough idea of the quality. A huge beam. Doesn't seem to have moved whatsoever. There's another one in the other part of this room which has sagged a little bit, so when I'm up in the loft area, the floors falls quite dramatically. So this is the last section that would be staying in. The wardrobes that are there are just too heavy for me to shift on my own. Everything I'm doing on my own. So I have to either take things completely apart to get them out, or smash them up, and I didn't want to be smashing up these lovely old wardrobes. So at some stage when I've got time, I'll be taking them apart and relocating them, maybe upcycling them, changing the paintwork or changing the designs on the doors, and hopefully reusing them in the house. Fabulous bits of old furniture. The problem is they're just super heavy, and like I said, there's only me. When my sons are on holiday, they've offered to help, but obviously we're a wee way away from that. So at the moment, it's little old me. That's the end of the video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I hope you continue to watch and support. And again, terribly sorry about the quality of sound.